Hello, hello. Welcome. Today you get to watch me sew my version of the Lauren bag. Unfortunately for you, when I was editing, I realized that I failed to plug in a microphone to my camera at any point throughout the entire time that I was filming. So you get to listen to my voiceover, and I apologize in advance because I am a hand talker. So this is my version of the Lauren bag. This is a bag that I've been sewing ever since I began sewing. It was definitely the largest one I had done in the first year. And I like to revisit it from time to time because it's a bag that I really enjoy sewing. As you can see here, I'm pointing out the corner accents and the front pocket. Both are pattern pieces that I created a couple of years ago, and you can get them for free on my website at hollowbagcreations.com. Now let's get to sewing, shall we? So right out of the gate, we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. I decided to start with the lining just because I like working on pockets like these, and I just kind of wanted to get them done first. So first of all, I do want to let you know that these pockets were inspired by the pockets that are in some of the Oro Rosa bags. And if you're not familiar with those patterns, definitely check them out. So these pockets are not an exact replica. It's kind of my own little spin on it, but they're really fun pockets. I love having pockets, so I try and get as many into a bag as I can. For this one, I've got 2 zipper pocket lining pieces, as well as 1 slip pocket piece and 1 main lining. So I'm going to start with the zipper pocket, and I will need 1 piece, and we're just going to go ahead and draw the location of the zipper. Along one long edge, draw a horizontal 3/4 inch line. Then draw a second line 1/4 inch below the first. Then draw a third line 1/4 inch below the second. Turn the piece 90 degrees and draw a vertical line 3/4 of an inch in, and then 3/4 of an inch in from that, and do it on both sides. Setting the zipper pocket aside for a moment, mark the centers on the slip pocket. Now place a ruler down the center and use a removable marking tool to draw a line vertically across the pocket. It's also a good idea to double check to make sure that your spacing is correct. Now lay the zipper pocket piece over the slip pocket piece and make sure they're centered, and then go ahead and stitch it down. When done, carefully slice open the center of the opening. You can go ahead and wipe away your marks as well. I like to add a little bit of double-sided tape before I pull my pocket through because it just helps to keep the seams laying nice and flat, and it gives a nice crisp edge in the end. Go ahead and pull the pocket through and press your seams. Go ahead and grab your zipper tape and burn the ends just to make sure that they're nice and sealed. On this pocket, I've decided to do a double zipper. So I'm going to take this 1-inch wide piece of lining and draw a line down the center the long way, as well as add some double-sided tape and fold the long edges towards the center line. Then I also add a bit of double-sided tape down the center on the wrong side, just to make sure that it will stick to the zipper and not shift when I stitch it. Next, grab the zipper and find the centers. And it doesn't matter if you're using a removable marking tool or something else, because this part of the zipper is going to be completely covered. And now you're going to remove the backing from the tape of the divider and place it right over those center markings. Go ahead and top stitch along the 2 long edges of the divider. When done, go ahead and trim off the excess. Go ahead and add your zipper pulls, and then placing the zipper right side up on your tabletop, line it up with the opening of the zipper pocket and make sure that you pull your zipper pulls into the opening. And now, as you can see, I'm using my zipper jig to make sure that my zipper teeth are properly aligned. And if you'd like to get your hands on this sweet tool, check out Myth Leather Co. And then pull everything over to your machine and top stitch around the entire opening. When you're done, pull your threads to the back and tie them off. Next, lay the other side of the zipper pocket right side down over the first and clip them together. Now, something that I like to do with my pockets is just to add a little bit of extra stability, because I know we've all purchased store-bought bags and their quality is not always that great, and sometimes the lining is really thin, and with a good jab from a pen you can just poke a hole right through the bottom. So to avoid that, I like to do a fold over and stitch that closed so that the bottom is a lot tougher and more secure. When you're done, stitch around the entire pocket. Make sure that you pull the slip pocket out of the way. When done, go ahead and trim off your threads and any excess overhanging zipper tape. Now flip the entire slip pocket closed and add some clips along the top edge. Go ahead and top stitch across the entire folded edge. Next, grab the main lining panel and line up the pocket along the bottom. Go ahead and add some clips. Right here, I just rolled up the top layer of the slip pocket so that I could lay my ruler down flat to mark the centers. When you're done making your mark, go ahead and stitch right down the center from the top of the pocket all the way to the bottom. When you're done, flip the pocket back down and make sure everything is nice and smoothed out. You can toss a couple of those clips on there to hold it all down. But you're going to now top stitch from the bottom of the pocket all the way down to the bottom of the lining. Right here, I was just attempting to explain the reason why I stitched everything underneath first, and that's simply to prevent it from shifting. Now go ahead and take it over to your machine and top stitch from the bottom of the zipper down to the bottom of the panel. Next, go ahead and baste the 3 sides down. Now go ahead and install a rivet at the very top center of the pocket. This is going to not only help keep that piece closed, it's also going to reinforce the top so that it doesn't tear open. Yay! All done! At least for now. Just gotta make sure that pockets work. Whee! Just kidding. Just gotta trim off these little edges just to make sure that all of the lining pieces line up. Okay, so on to the second lining piece. This one's going to be just a basic zipper pocket, and since I've already done that on camera, I'm going to do this next one off camera. So before I finish up this zipper pocket, I just wanted to show you how I prep it for later on when we need to turn the bag. So I grab a ruler and draw a 1/2 inch space at the very bottom of both of the zipper pocket pieces. Next, grab your double-sided tape and lay it down in the space that we just created. We are going to do it on both panels, but first you're going to see me do the first one. Once you're done putting the tape on, peel off the backing and then fold the edge down to the drawn line. Make sure you give it a good rolling or a press, or however you want to do it to flatten it out, and then go ahead and repeat on the second panel. When finished, grab the loose panel and lay it right sides together with the one that's already stitched to the lining, and then start at the bottom, adding clips and making sure everything lines up. When you're done with the bottom edge, continue your clips around the other 3 edges. Now go ahead and stitch the 3 raw edges closed, making sure that you leave the folded edges as they are. Now I'm grabbing the remaining slip pocket and adding clips, and then I'll be top stitching across the folded edge. And now I'm finding the center of that slip pocket, and I'm going to make a mark with a removable marking tool. And now I'm just making the bottom mark and clipping everything together. And here I'll just use the ruler up against those marks that I just made to draw a center line. And when done, I'm going to stitch down the center of that line as well as baste the open raw edges. And now we have some big old monster pockets. And here I'm just trimming off those boxed corners again. And now that we're done with the 2 main line panels, for now, set them aside, grab some clips as well as the lining bottom and the foam. Go ahead and attach the foam to the lining with some clips. When you're done, go ahead and baste those 2 layers together. And now you can go ahead and attach the lining bottom to one of the main lining panels. When you're done with that, go ahead and attach the other lining panel. When done, trim off the excess seam allowance and then set it aside and grab the pieces for the front pocket. Also grab the corner accents if you're using them and add a little bit of double-sided tape to the back. They don't have to be completely covered in tape, but just enough to stop them from scooting around is perfect. Also go ahead and lay them down on their respective corners. Now grab the exterior pocket piece and lay it over the foam. And I like to use a little bit of spray adhesive just to kind of lock it in place. Then go ahead and baste the entire thing down to the foam. When you're done basting, top stitch the rounded edges of the decorative corners. Now grab the lining pocket piece and place it right side down over the right side of the exterior. You're going to add clips along the top flat edges as well as the curve, and then stitch together. When you're done, you're going to want to trim the seam allowance down. Along the 2 top flat edges, just trim it by half. And at the little points right where it goes into the curve, trim them diagonally by half. I like to go down just a little bit past that point and then use my pinking shears for the rest of the curve. When done, remove any remaining clips and turn the pocket piece right sides out. Make sure that you add clips along the entire edge so that everything gets held in place properly. Also add clips around all of the straight edges, and when you're done, you're going to top stitch across the top edges and baste the rest of them closed. And when you're done with all of the basting, you're going to baste some more by basting the pocket onto the front main panel. I like to add decorative rivets to those corners right before the dip for the pocket. So if you want to do that, go ahead and grab your hole punch and make sure that you punch through both the pocket and the exterior panel layers. Then go ahead and install your rivets. Once you're done with the front panel, go ahead and set it aside, and then grab the back panel and install the corner accents just like you did on the front. Now on to the main zipper, and I've already got it prepped, as you can see. I've already attached both of my zipper pulls because I'm doing a double, and I've got double-sided tape on both sides of both ends of the zipper tape. Peel off the backing for the double-sided tape and grab one of the little tabs and lay it right side down over the zipper, making sure that the edges line up and that you press it into the tape nice and firmly. Repeat this on the other 3 sides. Once done, add a few clips to hold everything in place and then stitch across the short edges. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of double-sided tape within the seam allowance on all 4 sides. This is going to help keep everything right where it needs to be when I top stitch. Now pull the backing off of the tape and flip the tabs so that they're all right side out and wrong side together. Make sure that you pull them nice and tight so that you get the crease nice and crisp. Add a few clips to hold everything in place and then top stitch. Now it's time to add the anchors. In the pattern, Lauren does recommend using triangle anchors, and I just happen to have some that I purchased from her. I must say, though, that the quality and the durability of these particular anchors is amazing. They are the best quality, and I highly recommend checking them out at MoreMeKnow.com. So when you install anchors like this, you're going to need some kind of a cloth for protection, some pliers for installation. It's always helpful if you use glue to have things like cotton swabs or paper towels nearby. You want to make sure you also have some stabilizer for backing, and if you have a washer, that's even better. So I put a little bit of glue on the back of my hardware just so they don't shift and it won't destroy the fabric that it's against. And I used the washer to mark the holes of where the installation will take place. Then I went ahead and used my X-Acto knife to slice the spots, and then I put the hardware on to make sure that it fit, and it did. Took it off, added the glue, and then you put it back in. Now, as you see, I am adding some Decovil Heavy, even though there is Decovil Light on the back of this panel. I just want it to be extra structured because these are not riveted or screwed in. So once you've put the washer on, you're going to grab your pliers and you're going to push down on the side of the washer, and you're going to tilt the pliers towards the prongs. If you want them to go out, then you tilt them out. If you want them to go in, then you tilt them in. And you're going to continue to use pressure and push on every single prong until they are all laying flat where you want them. It doesn't hurt to give it a little tap too, just to make sure. Next, I'm just going to add a piece of duct tape, and that's considered done. And now it's time to add the main zipper. So if you haven't already, add a strip of double-sided tape to the top edge of all 4 pieces. Mark your centers if you haven't, and make sure you line up your zipper tape right there with your centers. You want it to be right side down on right side of exterior, and make sure you get it as straight as you possibly can. Use clips if you need to. Once that tape is nice and even, I'm going to go ahead and baste it down, only because of the fact that the vinyl is very slippery. I did have a few issues sewing the obsidian vinyl because of how slick it was, so I did a lot of basting. When you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and grab your lining. And if you've already added the double-sided tape, peel off the backing and line it up with the zipper and the top edge of the exterior, just like you did previously. Then when done, stitch it together. Now go ahead and flip the exterior right side out and use your fingers to force the zipper to submit. You're going to want to put all of the bulk towards the exterior and pull the lining away from the exterior. And then you're going to go ahead and top stitch on the exterior side only of the zipper. I also like to add double-sided tape just because it helps give it more of a crisp seam. When done, go ahead and repeat with the other exterior panel and the other side of the lining. Now we're going to finish up the lining bottom. So grab the lining bottom panel and mark your centers. Then grab a ruler and draw out your seam allowance. When it comes to the bag bottom, I like to use one layer of Decovil Heavy and one layer of Peltex together to make a nice stable structure. And I like to attach it with a little bit of Fabri-Tac. Well, not a little bit, a whole crap ton of it. I'll pour it all over on the Peltex side and then smooth it out with a spatula. And then I'll place it inside the area just past the seam allowance on the bag bottom. And as you can see, I've already marked the spot for my purse feet. So all I have to do is take the washers and mark the little slits for the prongs, punch them through, and then install them. And here we go into final construction. So I'm just going to take the bag bottom and attach it to the bottom of one of the exterior pieces, and then I'm going to attach it to the other exterior piece. Make sure that you open up your zipper and then grab some clips and start attaching exterior to exterior and lining to lining. Once everything's been clipped together, it is time to stitch. So I'm going to just start with the exterior side. I'm not going to worry about going over the center yet. I'm just going to go straight down one side and then up the other side. And when I get to the medium point of the opposite side, I'm going to go ahead and bridge over into the lining. I would definitely have to say that putting these bottom corners together was the toughest part of this bag for me because of the fact that I used so many layers between the two different types of vinyl and the stabilizers. And I was able to pull through it because I do have an industrial machine, but I do not recommend these type of layers on a regular basis. That being said, I just used some of my really thick and sturdy clips and I pinched those edges together, lined them up as best I could, and then when I stitched, I went over them a few times. Now this is my favorite part of any bag when you actually have the reveal. So because I use so many layers and because I'm using vinyl, I use my steamer to help soften the vinyl. So as you can see, I shoved my steamer in there and it's on the exterior side, and I'm just letting it fill up with as much steam as possible. So once it's done, I'll just pull out the steamer and turn it out. And now I just need to close up that lining pocket. So I'll just pull it out, straighten it out, trim off a couple of little pieces on the inside, and stitch it closed with a 2.5 millimeter stitch length at a 1/16 inch seam allowance. So here is my finished bag, and I hope you had a decent time suffering through my video. I do again apologize for not having proper audio. I do not really like doing voiceovers, but it was either that or stay up all night and make a new bag and hopefully don't mess it up, or stay out of the marathon. So hopefully I made the right choice, and I also really hope that you enjoyed all of my modifications. I encourage you to go and grab the pattern and play with it yourself. There are so many different ways that you can customize a bag like this, and I'd love to see it if you do. So thanks for popping in, and enjoy the rest of the marathon. Bye!